A battle built here with another video, getting into some more Season 8 Go Battle League battles, these taking place in the Ultra Remix meta, and we have a submission from a fellow PvPer of the community by the name of Ike the Bot. As you can tell by Ike's elo, he's approaching and getting close to that legend elo, but he decided along the way he wanted to do some spice battles, which I appreciate the heck out of him for submitting to the channel. These taking place with Feraligatr running Water Gun as the fast move, along with Crunch and Hydro Cannon as a charge moves, Hydro Cannon being the Legacy Community Day move of Feraligatr when that happened years and years ago. The team comp he put together with it has Kanto Muck and Armor Mewtwo in the back, and I'm quite excited to see this because Water Gun is not a great move. You don't see a lot of Pokemon out there having success with Water Gun as a fast move because of the fact that it doesn't deal super heavy damage. It's relatively quick, little oppressive move, like it deals damage but not a lot of damage, and it doesn't generate energy well either. And Ike has submitted us battles where he was able to pull off some dubs with this team comp leading Feraligatr. So if you're excited for this, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's jump right into these battles. So as I said before, you can check that bottom right corner to see his current elo, and let's see the kind of matches he's able to have success with Feraligatr in. So he's got a Feraligatr on a Jellicent lead, not an amazing matchup, but at least Feraligatr does have access to Crunch, which is going to deal some super effective damage to Jellicent. So it's going to get its health about like 40, not 40, about 60% down, 40% of it left. But then they hit with the Shadow Ball, and those Shadow Balls are so much spammier. He builds up to another Crunch, but decides to go for the Hydro Cannon bait. What a play. Because if they don't shield, they're going to survive that. He does get the shield charge move coming through. I guess Feraligatr has done his job at this point. He decides to not shield, and he lets it go down. Going to come in with Armor Mewtwo, hoping to confusion down the Jellicent to deal with whatever they have in the back. And now they're going to throw their charge move. He is going to use his shield, and it's going to be a bait of Bubble Beam, which is extremely unfortunate. This is going to stop him from being able to confusion down because they would have just gotten off either another Bubble Beam bait or land a Shadow Ball. They come with Mandibuzz, which hard counters Mewtwo, and then they come with Galarian Sunfist. And unfortunately, in match number 1, he got hard countered right off the rip. Well, let's see if we can have better success in these next few matches. Getting to the next one, he has Feraligatr on an Armor Mewtwo lead. They swap out. They're afraid of Feraligatr's Crunch abilities. Safe swapping Snorlax, he comes in with his Kanto Muck. Snorlax has to spam Body Slams here. Because it's Kanto Muck, it will not take neutral. It will resist superpowers, but Body Slams will still deal neutral damage. He goes for the Dark Pulse against the Snorlax there. They're going to get off another charge move. Should just be some more Body Slam spam. Slowly chunking away. Will he be able to get to a Thunder Punch in time to either take out or get the shield from the Snorlax? He does get there. Will they shield? Nope, they let their Snorlax go down. Let's see if Mewtwo comes back. They actually come in with Scrafty. Scrafty with resisted counters down the Muck, so it has some energy. But he comes back in with Feraligatr, and he's going to go for a Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon, going to hit hard, stab damage, and Hydro Cannon is just a good move in general. They're going for a charge move, going to be a Power Punch. He calls a potential bluff on a Foul Play that could have came through. Foul Play wouldn't have taken him out, but it definitely would have hit harder than Pup. But the Scrafty's building up, so it's committed 2 shields here. He's going to let another charge move come through. It's another Pup, great calls, and then he swaps in a Psychic type in Armor Mewtwo against the Scrafty. And honestly, this is pretty genius. The reason why this is genius is because the Armor Mewtwo moveset that you want to run in this meta is Dynamic Punch, but he also fully expected the opponent's swap. So very good play on his end, not throwing the Dynamic Punch at the opponent's Armor Mewtwo that came back in, but the Dynamic Punch would have hit that Scrafty really hard. I'm pretty sure it would have taken out the remaining health. With all the Scrafties, with all the other potential Dark types, and then of course other Stunfisks. If you want to use Armor Mewtwo as a confusion user, it really helps to have Dynamic Punch to make sure it can cover its own weaknesses. He pulls a swap, catches the charge move on the Feraligatr. Should just be another side strike. Really big play. He still has his shield, can commit not to a confusion down, but can almost build up to 2, and it looks like he's going to pull off this win in match number 2. Armor Mewtwo coming in clutch, but you have to keep in mind, Feraligatr with the Hydro Cannons. As much as it wasn't really Hydro Cannon spam because Water Gun takes forever to get off the moves, it got the shield. It was oppressive enough. It was hitting hard. And Feraligatr, you know, was tanky. It tanked some moves. Honestly, I think Feraligatr's bulk might be a bit underrated as we get further and further into these battles. Get into this next one, Feraligatr on Stunfist, the match that we all want to see because I know you're sick of seeing Stunfisks everywhere. And we're dealing super effective damage with Water Gun, and the Hydro Cannon is going to hit hard. gets his shield. Let's see what they decide to do. They'll probably go for the Earthquake, trying to get rid of the Feraligatr quick. They go for it, and it only puts the Feraligatr in the yellow. Actually survives it pretty well. They then safe swap Skarmory. He builds all the way up to a Hydro Cannon before swapping, and then brings in a Poison type against a Steel type, which might have been a bit questionable, but the reason why it's smart is because Muck does have access to Thunder Punch, which is going to deal super effective damage, and Poison Jab is generating energy pretty well these days. The opponent goes for a Brave Bird there. That was an insane Brave Bird. He decides not to shield, but Thunder Punch ends up taking out the remaining health because of that. Still has shield advantage, gets to a Dark Pulse, gonna do some neutral damage, because again, Stunfisk being a Steel type and a Ground type, I think it triple resists the poison damage. He pulls off a fast swap because the Stunfisk is now trapped because of how quick he swapped, gets off the Hydro Cannon to then get the last shield. They come in with Jellicent, and Feraligatr is your favorite meta core breaker confirmed out here, slaughtering Stunfisk, scaring them away, and then landing crunches on all the jellies, because jelly is everywhere in this meta. I've said that in almost every video. So having crunch on it is pretty huge for that type of coverage against opposing Jellicent, specifically being that water ghost type. And then other psychic types, because there are other people running Armored Mewtwo, but I do just in general really like, ooh, he tried to pull the swap there. I do really like Feraligatr having crunch along with Hydro Cannon, because that's some interesting coverage that you just wouldn't expect on a water type Pokemon having dark coverage. He calls a Rock Slide bait. What a play. He's like, I don't need to use this shield. Goes for the Dynamic Punch. Mewtwo takes out the Stunfisk's remaining health and wins that one with an extra shield that he probably could have used, but you know what? Did it for the flex. Getting to this next match, he's got a Feraligatr on an Armored Mewtwo lead again, and this is what I'm talking about. Crunch pays off here. Crunch ends up being a little bit more energy than Hydro Cannon, which I actually never really knew up until obviously submitting these battles. And then he pulls off a swap to catch a Side Strike on his Armored Mewtwo. And Armored Mewtwo in general is just a good save swap, so honestly making that catch is huge. Builds up to the Dynamic Punch, gonna bait with Side Strike, because honestly, Side Strike's gonna hit hard enough, and the fact that Armored Mewtwo has Dynamic Punch will probably scare the Abomasnow. The Abomasnow does get off 2 Weather Balls, so he's gonna overfarm a bit here before going for the Side Strike bait. Will the opponent shield? He gets the shield. Now, do you go for the Dynamic Punch? You shield this, go for Dynamic Punch? He decides to let it come through. Okay, gonna come in with Kanto Muck, and Kanto Muck's going to do pretty well here. It's going to take neutral damage from the Weather Balls, but should be able to Poison Jab all the way down pretty comfortably. Another Weather Ball comes through, doing some chip damage. He decides his shield doesn't want to let his Muck get too low. He now has energy for that Mewtwo. They came back in with the Mewtwo because Confusion, super effective against Poison. Makes sense, but because that Muck had so much energy, it was able to throw a Dark Pulse and almost take it out completely. They then come in with a Politoed. And ooh, this might be a little tight. Politoed's going to spam Weather Balls, or honestly probably should have went for the Earthquake, because again, Weather Ball being resisted, that water on water typing. But Feraligatr can put in some serious work here, getting off 2 crunches. The Water Guns are going to be resisted by Politoed, and if the Muck can get to a Thunder Punch, because it does have some health left, it was really smart of him to save the shield, even if they did have Earthquake, just based on the fact that Muck's going to want this shield the most. So they're going to go for a charge move. Should only be another Weather Ball. They're not even building up to the Earthquake to try and bluff, but that's probably because of the fact that their Politoed's running Weather Ball and Blizzard. But they should have at least, tried to bluff it, try to scare it. You build up to it the first, couple of charge moves to be like, I got this Earthquake. Don't, let it be that obvious so that the Muck doesn't have to worry about it, nor the Feraligatr does, because Blizzard wasn't really scaring Feraligatr with its resistances, and then, of course, Blizzard would have also just done neutral against Muck like the Weather Balls. Against this next matchup, we have Feraligatr on a Meloetta. Meloetta is the correct pronunciation. Somebody stop me if I'm incorrect. It gets access to Psyshock and has Confusion as a fast move. Not too shabby. That's a spice set that I would love to shoutcast. I actually might have somebody submitting me battles with Meloetta in Master League, because I've heard that it doesn't have too bad a play there. It's like top 20. It loses to really core meta stuff, which is never fun. But you know what? We can run into some side meta with Meloetta. Maybe you could pull some dubs in Master League. Either way, now he has a shield advantage and Mewtwo on Politoed, which seems like a pretty comfortable matchup. The Weather Balls are being spammed, but like they don't hurt that much. They have to get off quite a few. He still has his shield. He lands a Side Strike. That does a lot of damage. I'm sure he can survive another Weather Ball here and then go for a confusion down of the Politoed. So let's see. Oh, they swap. They swap and come in with Air Slash Mandibuzz. He's going to go for the neutral Dynamic Punch. Definitely want to do that there, not throw the double resisted Side Strike, right? Dark double resist Psychic. Battle Build kind of knows his typing is confirmed. Comes in with the Kanto Muck now to deal that super effective Thunder Punch damage, building up a bunch with his Poison Jabs. It should hit. I don't want to say hit too hard because it is Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz tanky as a tank could be. I don't know. I couldn't think of a good comparison to compare it to something else that's tanky. Anyhow, woo, what a play. He overfarms like crazy. Gonna get off a Thunder Punch on the Meloetta. Hopefully can get to another Thunder Punch before the Mandibuzz gets to a move. That is the positive of it running Air Slash, but they come in with Politoed. Wait, he took out the Mandibuzz? I missed that. I thought the Mandibuzz swapped out. Instead, he killed it. Never mind. And then Poison Jab the Politoed. What a match. Getting to this next one, we have Feraligatr on Porygon Z. Some of these matchups, man, it looks like Ike's getting a little outspiced in some of them, and these are around some competitive elo ranges, so it's always exciting to see fellow trainers PvPing and battling like this. Porygon's going to be spamming Tri-Attacks. That hits really hard and double debuffed, and it's easy to spam. Do you even shield this next one? No, he doesn't. I don't blame him. Unfortunately, Feraligatr not going to be able to contribute much to this specific match. But then he's going to come in with Kanto Muck, commit to probably a Poison Jab down of the Porygon Z. He's going to shield this move. Should be another Tri-Attack. Hopefully no debuffs on that. No debuffs, which is pretty clutch. But the Porygon Z is going off. It gets off another Tri-Attack. No debuff again. Isn't it like a 40% or something, like a high percent chance of debuff? Or is it 50? I don't know. Something like that. I know it's a high chance of debuff. They come in with Toxicroak against the Muck. And then he swaps in Armor Mewtwo, and the Toxicroak stays in. Oh my god. Alright, well, Feraligatr didn't do much here, but freaking Armor Mewtwo just absolutely decimating this lineup. This dude built a team that has Toxicroak being double weak to Psychic, Gengar being super weak to Psychic with its Poison typing, and the fact that Gengar is so glassy, it took the confusions like Toxicroak did. Lord. And then he gets off a Thunder Punch on the Gengar to take it out, and Kanto Muck's gonna do a little bit of cleanup business after Mewtwo freaking confusion the living life out of them. Clutches that match there. Again to this next one. Feraligatr on another Armor Mewtwo lead. So we're seeing Armor Mewtwo everywhere in this meta. Honestly, personally, myself, I've definitely run into a bunch of Armor Mewtwo's. And that's not necessarily in the lead, but just in general, very popular mon, a very strong Pokemon in some Ultra Remix battles. It's nice to see it have its chance to shine again, just because of the fact that once Cresselia got access to Grass Knot, it really just outshined the living heck out of Armor Mewtwo in the Ultra League meta. So it's nice to see Armor Mewtwo back. Let's see how he decides to play this out. He's shielding a Side Strike. They're playing out the 2 shields. They played out the 2 shield. Will Feraligatr? Oh, the Feraligatr was going to get to the crunch, and the opponent knew it. They were counting Water Guns. Who knows Water Gun counts? Why? Why do you know Water Gun counts? Pretty impressive by the opponent, but then they come with a Alolan Ninetales, and wow, they're running Side Shock. Almost every Alolan Ninetales I've seen has been running Weather Ball and Dazzling Gleam. But he has a great answer for that Ninetales in the form of his Kanto Muck, and still eats the Side Shock, Poison Jabs down the Ninetales completely. And then a Politoed comes in, so I guess he just kind of instinctually threw, expecting maybe the Mewtwo to come in to confusion down, but so he threw a Dark Pulse at the Politoed, but at least he gets off a Thunder Punch on the Politoed after to hit for some super effective damage. He had so much energy. Comes in with Armor Mewtwo here, gonna commit to a confusion down, and the opponent just says, GG, that's it. The opponent counting those Water Guns, though, I respect that effort and knowing that play. That was wild. Getting to this next one, we have Feraligatr on a Scrafty lead. Gonna want to try to spam. Like, spam as much as you can when you have Water Gun as a fast move. Like a Battle Bill with the bars. Spam as much as you can. I'll be here all week. Anyhow, he gets off that charge move there. We got Feraligatr and Scrafty playing out the no shield. They go for 2 power-up punches. He's going to go for the Hydro Cannon. So I guess technically, if the Scrafty does not go foul play, Feraligatr wins a no shield. So he gets his shield from the Scrafty on that Hydro Cannon and then comes in with the Kanto Muck. They're going to want to maybe throw a foul play at this point just because, you know, it is neutral damage. You are already double boosted. Is this enough for a foul play? Ike must be counting. I wasn't counting fast enough. It's just another pup. Really big plays by Ike, knowing the counts, knowing it wasn't a foul play. Also a mistake by the opponent not even trying to go for the foul play there after being double boosted from that lead matchup, because you know you get all that boosted attack and you gotta use it. You can't just keep on throwing pups. Boosting your attack to throw power punches, and there's no point in boosting the attack at that point. But either way, they come in with Bronzong, and he matches it with Mewtwo. Bronzong being what? Psychic and Steel is going to double resist these confusions, right? Because Steel resists, Psychic resists itself. So Mewtwo not in the best spot, just got payback before. He's going to get off a Psy Strike. Might have wanted to throw a Dynamic Punch. I don't see why the Bronzong would have been scared of even this to come through. It's only going to be neutral damage. Not hitting that hard, but you know, it did something. This match, it's looking close. Maybe Ike knew his energy management because he wasn't getting the 2 Dynamic Punches and 2 Dynamic Punches and a Psy Strike. So honestly, the way he generated and managed his energy there was pretty impressive to get off all the moves. They're running Bulldoze and Payback. Wow. Wow. If you really think about it, it makes sense. Unfortunately, he's going to lose this match because that Bronzong went the heck off. It kind of makes sense because you're dealing like this strong psychic damage in the form of confusion. So like, why not just have 2 ginormous moves? But like, Psyshock's just such a nice bait move. Anyhow, get into this next one. Has a positive lead with Water on Ice, Water resisting Ice. They save swap Giratina Origin, and this is why it's so nice to have that crunch coverage. Throws it, gets a shield. Is still staying in this matchup. I feel like I might have gone into a Muck as much as Ghost resists poison, but I guess at the same time, logically speaking, he still has the poison for the Alolan Ninetales, so it makes sense to stay in this matchup. Gets off a Crunch. Unfortunately, was about to die there, but he does get a shield and land a Crunch on the Giratina Origin, so that's always nice for damage. Comes in with the Armor Mewtwo to Confusion down, and then they have a Jellicent, which this is working out better for him because the opponent does not know that he has a Kanto Muck in the back that is going to absolutely slaughter that Alolan Ninetales. And I doubt it's running Psyshock. I mean, if it's running Psyshock, that could determine the game because it does have Powder Snow from what we saw in the beginning lead matchup. He does get off a bunch of damage onto the Jellicent, even at shields here, and can use a shield now that he has a Jellicent low. Jellicent should be Shadow Balling. If they Bubble Beam, he just swaps out to clear the debuff. I did see him click that Feraligatr. He was definitely trying to swap. Still trying to swap. Ends up taking a little bit of extra damage there just based on the pure fact that Feraligatr resists all the ice damage. So the Powder Snows took a couple of them on Feraligatr, and the Alolan Ninetales was able to generate some extra energy there. But it does not look like that. Alolan Ninetales is running Psyshock, so that's going to be huge for Kanto Muck in this. He's going to be spamming Thunder Punches, gets the last shield, trying to go for a 3rd Thunder Punch to take out the Alolan Ninetales' remaining health. They get off another Weather Ball. Kanto Muck holds on, and Kanto Muck clutches with the Thunder Punch to take out the Alolan Ninetales' remaining health. He has been doing really well in these battles, and honestly, been getting some pretty equal, like no one Pokemon has been carrying. And just seeing the Feraligatr have the matchups and having the coverage against certain mons you wouldn't expect, like Giratina, like Armor Mewtwo, like other ghosts. I'm trying to think of specific mods we've seen in these matchups, but my memory's terrible in the moment when I'm trying to shoutcast. But either way, has a positive lead. Oh, there's another ghost. Jellicent throws his Crunch before potentially dipping or going to stay in. Looks like he's going to stay and catches a move. What a play. Going to be a Shadow Ball. Going to hurt Muck a bit, but can generate the Thunder Punches quick enough, or maybe even the Dark Pulse. I feel like maybe they'll shield, maybe Thunder Punch baiting was the play, or Thunder Punch gets them low enough to then farm, but doesn't want to take a Shadow Ball, so landing that Dark Pulse, considering they didn't shield, ends up working out nicely. Plus, that also makes sense because of the fact that they have the Stunfisk in the back. They won't want to shield their Jellicent because they'll want to bring Stunfisk into this very positive matchup. But now everything still stays aligned. The Feraligatr has a bunch of energy. The opponent makes a really good swap there to catch a Hydro Cannon, which is unfortunate. Not going to be able to get off a super effective Crunch on him there. Goes for another Hydro Cannon, so the neutral Hydro Cannons are still hitting really hard. Gets a shield, swaps into Armored Mewtwo. Armored Mewtwo isn't going to mind this matchup too much. Deoxys is going to resist all the moves that Mewtwo can throw, but at the same time, Mewtwo is such a tank that honestly, it doesn't matter what Deoxys is going to throw right back at it. Already tanked 2 Rock Slides, only lost about half its health. He's over farming like crazy, getting some lag. Built up to almost 2 Side Strikes. Going to get off the first one, stab, but resisted, doesn't do a lot of damage, and they swap into Stunfisk. No, this Stunfisk had a family, but you know, the Stunfisk deserved it. It is XL. It survived! It survived with 1 HP. Why? But then the switch timer is up, comes in with Feraligatr, the Deoxys comes back in, but he has his shield. There's no way his Deoxys has 2 moves. They Psycho Boost, and just from that, it's GG. Gets water gunned down by the Feraligatr. What a match. They should have just stayed in with Deoxys, like, get side striked at least, and then, also, this is just to show his positive sets. He had a couple 4-1s, got all the way up to almost 2,900. Not based off those 2 4-1s. I'm sure there were some other battles in there. And then we have a special match. Those are just to show that he had a lot of success. He sent 11 battles, went 4-1 in 2 of the sets. And look at this first lead. We have Feraligatr on Blaziken. It's a battle of generational starters. What is it? Gen 2 against Gen 3. They throw a Brave Bird. What a call. Completely water guns it down. Doesn't have shield advantage. Then they come with Aggron. Oh my god, this is a bonus battle. So he sent 10 and this is the 11th. Is this Feraligatr about to sweep? Is this about to sweep? There's no way. No, it's gonna get smacked down before it can sweep, right? Right? Gets another Hydro Cannon? It gets another shield? Oh, he swaps. Okay. But I mean, Feraligatr's still going off. Christ. They're gonna get us some charge moves here. Stone Edge hits the Armored Mewtwo, can get the Dynamic Punch or throw the Side Strike. Dynamic Punch would be double super effective. It would probably kill Aggron, its child, and the rest of the Aggron family because of how much damage it does. And then they come with Unova Stunfisk. I almost want to respect this opponent for the spice, but they're going to get outdone once that Feraligatr comes in with another Hydro Cannon, and the Feraligatr essentially decimated this entire team. But I do respect the Unova Stunfisk spice. Swaps, Hydro Cannon, incoming, taking out the rest of its health, dealing that super effective damage, and Feraligatr just obliterated. I'm very appreciative that you included that 11th match, even though it wasn't, because he did a bunch of battles. He was telling me he was trying his best to make sure he had some positive sets with Feraligatr, and I'm sure not all of them were perfect. Obviously, this is a spice team, so, you know, every team's going to have its weaknesses. Every team you're going to go in your ups and downs with, so I'm sure this was in another set that wasn't a part of those 2 4-1s, but he still went 8-2 in the set, then also had that flex of a match, and as we saw his final elo, between battles he was doing Feraligatr, he was almost at 2,900 elo. Actually insane. 2 4-1s, could I get you to 2,900? Maybe, depending on how good your opponents are that you're beating. With the Feraligatr, you could technically gain almost like 100 points for 4-1s. Maybe more realistic to gain like 80 or so. Might have had a 3-2 in there, you never know. Anyhow, Ike, thank you so much for the submission. I really enjoy watching these battles. They were quite entertaining. I hope you, the viewer, enjoy watching these battles too. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.